AT&T, Chuck Kalmanek.
Morning, everybody. What a great talk, and what an exciting time it is to be in this telecom and IT industries. There are tectonic forces that are reshaping our industry. You've just heard about a bunch of them. The three that I want to emphasize are, and I think you all know them, you live in and breathe in them every day: mobilization of applications, ubiquitous broadband, and cloud technology. And working for a telecommunications provider, these transitions, these tectonic forces, are changing the way we deliver our services. They're changing the nature of the services we deliver. They're changing people's lives, and they're changing the way that CIOs run their businesses. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to spend the majority of the time giving you a sense of what are the major priorities going on, what some of the major priorities going on in AT&T Labs today. And then towards the end, I'm a researcher. I want to just have all of us put on our wings and fly a little bit, take a little bit of a look at what the future might be for our industry. So here is a set of initiatives that are major initiatives this year. LTE. How many folks in the room here have tried an LTE device, have an LTE device today? What do you think of that speed, huh? The rest of you guys, you are not with it. Get out there and get yourself an LTE device, because it's an amazing experience, and once you've tried it, you won't want to go back. I'm not going to talk about LTE. We've already announced that we're ahead of schedule in deploying our LTE with almost 200 million POPs covered. What I'm going to talk about are two technologies. One I'll talk about in a few slides, which is small cell technology, and I also want to talk about voice over LTE. So one of the things that LTE does for us is it actually enables the migration to an all-IP mobile broadband network. And so we're in the process of certifying voice over LTE, and we'll be starting to roll it out later this year. One of the things that this enables is high-definition voice. Two users that are both on voice over LTE devices will be able to have a call using AMR wideband encoding. So who cares? Anybody in this room who has ever heard the difference between standard definition voice and high definition voice, I can tell you, you'll never want to go back. You didn't realize your ears had that dynamic range. It's just an amazing experience. So that's one of the benefits in terms of customer experience, that as we roll out this technology, the migration to a truly all-IP network will enable. IMS. Obviously, IMS is integral to voice over LTE. And we're moving ahead with we're working actually to consolidate all of our voice over IP services on a single IMS platform called the Universal Services Platform, which will support voice over LTE, our consumer voice over IP services, and our business voice services. Now, little known fact, when actually I was a young pup in this industry, I worked in 3GPP on the IMS standards. And I can tell you personally, it's very exciting to see this technology being rolled out to our customers. We've also created what we refer to as an IMS innovation platform to allow third-party developers and AT&T to build and test applications rapidly in a near-production environment. We had our first call management hackathon at CES in January, and we had a second one at Mobile World Congress. Among the things this will allow us to do, and we heard about some of this earlier, is it will allow us to support early WebRTC applications and interconnect WebRTC applications with IMS calls, which is truly bringing together the web and mobile worlds. Pretty amazing stuff. Project Velocity IP. Now, we've talked about, in this industry, moving from TDM to IP for over a decade. This is the point in time where we're actually doing it. So what are we talking about? Obviously, we're talking about our wireless expansion. We're talking about UVerse expansion. We're talking about migration from ATM DSLAMs to IP DSLAMs, and we're talking about fiber to the building. In the wireless domain, by the end of 2014, we'll have 4G coverage to 99% of our customer locations. And this also includes a number of efforts in spectrum management, deployment of thousands of macro cells, and over 40,000 small cells. On the wireline side, we're expanding our UVerse footprint by 8.5 million locations, which will just increase the number of our customers that can get the bundle of voice, video, and data services. And of course, the upgrade to IP DSLAM also comes with technology improvements in DSL like bonding and vectoring, which will increase the DSL speeds to our customers. Again, ubiquitous broadband, pretty amazing stuff. Security 2.0, I'll talk about this in a little more detail later, but in life, with good always comes a little bit of bad, and with this migration of software-based services with ubiquitous broadband, one of the unfortunate side effects is that there are bad people out there in the world, and the nature and size of the attacks against us and our customers is increasing, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing in that area. Big data. This is an IT transformation project. We are building a platform that allows us to make more effective use of data about our networks, our services, and our customers to improve customer experience and to reduce churn. Anytime a customer has a dropped call, that's data that we can use to say where we should be deploying a small cell. Anytime a customer calls into an AT&T call center, we should be able to use that data to determine what their experience was and how we can make it better. Anytime they visit our website, we should be able to recommend to them products and services that are tailored to or catering to their specific customer needs. This is what the big data program is about. Domain 2.0 is a rethinking of how we design and build our networks. Let me first talk about network virtualization. Traditionally, a service provider network was composed of a bunch of purpose-built boxes. Maybe they're switches, maybe they're routers, maybe they're firewalls. You may have seen some of those boxes at some point in your life. And of course, service providers, we specify the functionality, we certify them, we deploy them, and we manage them. That's what we've done. We've done this for decades. Well, the world is changing. Over the course of the next decade, we will move to a world where the majority of our network elements are software loaded onto a virtualized platform that's running on top of commodity hardware. What that does for us is it changes our cost structure because we're no longer deploying purpose-built hardware, and it increases the velocity at which we can deploy applications and services. It's not here today. What we're doing today are some fairly small-scale experiments, but this is the direction we're headed in. This year, we'll be moving some of our control plane elements to a network virtualized platform in order to gain experience with the technology and take it to the next level. Let me talk a little bit also about SDN, or software-defined network. Now, this is not a new idea. What is software-defined networking? Traditionally, people talk about SDN as the separation of the switching and the control planes. It's been around for a long time. In fact, AT&T pioneered SDN in our IP backbone about a decade ago, actually, with the deployment of intelligent route control technology. And the industry is now adopting similar techniques in data center networks. What this does is it leads to lower costs because we can use commodity switches, and it leads to greater flexibility. So we're bringing SDN technology into our cloud networking enablement program, and again, I'll talk a little bit about that later. And finally, service quality management. Given everything I've talked about, you can clearly see that our networks and services are complex, and they're getting more complex, and we're bringing our understanding of our networks, our services, and our customers into a joint program with operations that will transform the way we manage and run our network, and I have a slide on that as well. So those are some of the key initiatives. It's certainly not a comprehensive or complete list, but it gives you a sense of what our priorities are and where we're focusing on this year. I also like to always provide a little bit of data in my slide, and so that it's not all opinion, and this is some data that I think is interesting to most audiences. Anybody that thinks this industry is slowing down only has to look at the data. So this slide contains data about the growth in our mobility network traffic, in our enterprise traffic or VPN traffic, our business internet, and our wireline broadband services. Obviously, things like mobility starting from a smaller base but steeper growth rates. But when you net it all out, this industry and our backbone, our networks, are seeing 30% year-over-year growth in traffic. So this obviously drives continued investment in everything from our photonic core all the way out to the radio access network, which is where small cell technology comes in. It's a treadmill that's constantly moving, and we're constantly working with our suppliers to make sure that we can keep up with and support the demand that our customers are placing on our network. So given that 43% traffic growth for mobility, perhaps that gives you at least a little bit of understanding of why we're talking about small cell technology. So let me spend a little bit more time on that. So what do small cells do for us? Well, they do a couple of things. One is that they provide improved spectral efficiency. There's a finite amount of spectrum in the world, and with a small cell, we can reuse spectrum with the macrocell environment and do targeted deployments either for capacity or for coverage that allow us to build a very cost-effective radio access network. They're also being used to improve in-building coverage. Basically, what the idea is, it's flexible service where it's needed most. And these small cell technologies are going to be used both in indoor environments and in outdoor environments. So let me give you a little bit of terminology. We talk about femtocells. Femtocells are basically up to 4 simultaneous calls used in homes and small businesses. And today we're talking about 3G UMTS femtocells that we've been deploying for a while. Another term that we use is metrocells. When we talk about metrocells, we're talking about small cells that support up to 32 simultaneous calls, both indoor and outdoor for large office buildings and neighborhoods. Today, 3G UMTS technology and 4G HSPA plus technology. And then on a little bit longer time horizon, we're talking about multi-standard metrocells, up to 64 simultaneous calls, both indoor and outdoor. One of the specific types of locations where these types of multi-standard metrocells would be used would be in large public venues. So what experience do we have with this technology to date? Well, we've got 2 indoor trials going on with enterprise customers. One's in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I don't know if there's anybody in the audience from Waukesha, Wisconsin. The second one is in New York City. We probably have some folks here from New York City. It's a little bit bigger. Some of the data that we have from those trials, 15% increase in traffic, call drop rates that are equal to the macrocellular network, the combined call drop rate, both macro and metro, equal to the macrocellular network call drop rates and declining, stronger signals, better customer experience. And we also have similar results from the outdoor field trials that we've done of this technology. So it's actually a very exciting technology, as I say, that we're going to be rolling out this year. So as I said earlier, into every life a little rain must fall, and we need to talk about network security. So there are 2 categories of issues that are arising. I talked about the nature and the size of the attacks changing over time. One is DDoS, which has been around for a long time. We'll spend some time talking about that. Another category of threat that we're dealing with in our Chief Security Office and in partnership with research and others in the company is something called advanced persistent threats, which are really like Trojan horses where the primary objective is not to bring down a customer but to steal information. So I'll talk primarily about DDoS just to give you a sense of what's going on in the industry today. A year ago, we were seeing attacks of about 2 to 4 gigabits per second. Around July of 2012, the attack volumes started to grow up. In March of 2013, we've seen attacks in the 230 to 240 gigabit per second range. 2 orders of magnitude in less than a year. The majority of these attacks appear to be launched by a group that's associated with a particular foreign government. They've targeted major financial institutions and other customers. Now, obviously, if you've designed a DDoS infrastructure to sustain a 2 to 4 gigabit per second attack, and you see an 100x increase in the amount of attack traffic, you've got to think a little bit differently. So how do you address these volumetric attacks? Well, there are 2 parts to it. One is called detection. If these are large volume attacks, it's relatively easy. The other one's called cleaning or mitigation. That's the tricky part. So with cleaning, what we do is we divert both the clean and the attack traffic to a scrubber farm. It's not perfect. It may take a 20 gigabit per second attack down to 2 gigabit per second. It may throw away some clean traffic along with the attack traffic that's thrown away. But the important thing is it allows the customer to ride out the storm, to weather the storm. So what are we doing? Well, we're deploying more capacity and we're moving to a distributed architecture. Obviously, nobody has a perfect crystal ball, but we believe that as service providers get enough capacity deployed, these hackers will move away from these large brute force volumetric attacks because it's just going to get too expensive for them to keep up with the capacity that service providers have deployed. Doesn't mean they're going to go away. They'll probably move from volumetric attacks to low and slow attacks where they're trying to exploit vulnerabilities. But we will have dealt with the large DDoS attacks that we've started to experience over the last year. So it's pretty important to us in protecting our infrastructure, and it's pretty important to our customers who clearly don't have the resources and ability to deal with attacks of this volume. There's a lot of discussion about the cloud. What are the trends in this area that are driving this? Well, I alluded to it earlier, increased mobilization. Applications are increasingly being delivered on mobile devices. One data point that I've seen is that over 60% of companies that are implementing mobile apps over the course of the next year will be implementing more than one. Migration to the cloud. Another data point I've seen is that about half of the enterprises surveyed plan to move 25% or more of their services to the cloud. There's the changing nature of IT, BYOD. The cost savings, it also improves employee productivity. Everybody's either looking at it or doing it today. Informal IT purchasing arrangements, it goes on and on. Security, the things that we've just talked about. These are things that our customers are looking to large service providers to address on their behalf. So we believe that the convergence of mobility, network, and cloud is an important trend, and our vision is to be the premier provider of network-enabled intelligent endpoint connectivity to the cloud. By allowing enterprises to connect to the cloud securely with their MPLS VPN, and then by reaching out to the plethora of mobile devices out there, we believe we'll be delivering to our customers the best of all worlds: security, flexibility, and reach. Instead of hairpinning IPsec connections through a couple of major data centers, the any-to-any connectivity of MPLS reduces latency in some of the studies we've done by as much as 50%. And in numerous studies that we've looked at, it can also reduce network over-provisioning by as much as 60%. So it's good for us, and it's good for our customers. So one of the things that we're doing this year is we're aggressively working on the network bonding process, what we refer to as net bonding. The goal is, after a pre-qualification step, the customer can either go to a website or make an API call to essentially provision their VPN into a set of virtual machines in our virtual private cloud. Service orchestration sets up the VMs in the virtual private cloud. The intelligent route control that I talked about earlier, network orchestration, sets up the VPN connectivity dynamically in real time. At the end of the process, the customer has a secure MPLS connection from a VLAN in their own private data center across our MPLS network into a set of virtual machines running an environment in the virtual private cloud in AT&T's data centers. Pretty magical stuff. We're working very aggressively to get those capabilities built out. Finally, service quality management. Obviously, given everything that I've talked about, it's obvious to everybody in the room that our networks and services are complex, and they're getting more complex. And our customers need us more than ever. Their expectations of us are rising. So I have a dedicated group in research that is working hand in glove with operations to transform the way we run our network. So there are two primary aspects to this that I'll focus on just for a minute now. One is troubleshooting, and one is impact analysis. Troubleshooting. We've got a large data mining infrastructure and statistical techniques that in a number of specific cases over the course of the last year, we've already demonstrated that we can reduce troubleshooting times for specific types of outages from days to minutes. And obviously, that's a huge benefit both to the operations team and to our customers. What do I mean by impact analysis? Well, impact analysis, obviously, sometimes the network has a bad day, right? We all have a bad hair day once in a while. Sometimes the network has a bad day. And there are multiple events that are going on at one time that operations is trying to deal with. Impact analysis is the ability to tell operations which of these 6 things that they're trying to juggle are the ones that is having the most customer impact so that they can focus on the most important problem now. And again, our detailed understanding of networks, our detailed understanding of how to do reliability modeling, and our detailed understanding of what customers are supported by this network allow us to provide operations in real time with an impact analysis that allows them to prioritize their work. It's pretty important stuff. So that's where we are. Where's it all going? What happens when we have an all-IP network, ubiquitous broadband? When the velocity of deploying new applications and services that are promised by SDN and network virtualization are behind us, they're a reality. Well, I have a vision that I call the connected life. And the notion is that we link together the customer experience into a holistic and personalized experience wherever they may be. They may be at home, they may be at work, they may be in their car, they may be sitting next to the pool at the Hyatt with their mobile device drinking a Mai Tai. And we'd like to have a holistic experience that crosses all of those services, all of those devices that they may be accessing. So the vision is that if you combine these services in a holistic way, leverage the data we have about our customers, how they use our services, what they like, what they don't like, we can simplify people's lives instead of complicating them. We can put ourselves into what I call the customer intimacy business. So imagine that all of these capabilities now are running in the cloud. We're looking forward, rolling the clock forward a decade or more. AT&T is launching a service this year which we call Digital Life, which really truly brings digital technology into the home. We're working with car manufacturers to embed 4G technology into cars and bring all of the application into those cars so that the navigation that you're getting in your car isn't a database that was loaded into the car 6 years ago when you bought it. It can be updated over the air. So that you can do real-time search and find the nearest restaurant, the nearest gas station, the nearest hybrid charging station. We're talking 10 years in the future. Or electric vehicle charging station. AT&T is the largest M2M connected device supplier in the world. So we're talking about an environment where there are sensors, cameras, microphones integrated into the environment. The environment can sense what you're doing and can adapt the smart building concept to what people want in that environment. With ISIS, we're in mobile commerce, so you can purchase things directly from your device in a secure and trusted way. And we have a concept called the personal cloud. And the personal cloud is my personal digital footprint in all of those different services out there that I touch that could be brought together into a unified whole. So it's a pretty amazing set of things that you can imagine happening if we can integrate and unify these things together. I can't possibly create in a few minutes that I have a complete and comprehensive vision for how this might work. But what I'd like to do is to ask the techs to roll a video that was produced by our partners in the Emerging Devices Organization about the connected vehicle. They incorporated a lot of the research technology we're working on in our labs, give you just a sense of what the future may hold, and then I'll go to our last slide and try to bring it all together.
People have always trusted AT&T to connect them to what's most important. Now we're working on new innovations to simplify and enhance your life. We're enabling devices to talk to one another wirelessly, allowing you to control the lights and thermostat of your home with your smartphone, start your vehicle remotely, or even use biometric readings to unlock your vehicle.
Good morning. Okay, shutting off all lights, locking doors and windows, and turning security system on. Looks like you have everything you need for the day.
Imagine a world where your vehicle serves as both your assistant and guardian.
Perfect.
Enabled by the most cutting-edge technology, it's a vehicle that's fully aware of its surroundings and feels like an extension of yourself, connecting you seamlessly to your own personal cloud.
Play today's podcast from the New York Times.
Your voice frees you from distractions and keeps your eyes and mind on the road. The AT&T Connected Vehicle provides a ride of unprecedented safety because the vehicle is part of a larger intelligent network. Vehicles, the road, and traffic infrastructure talk to each other wirelessly, exchanging a constant flow of data, helping to avoid accidents and improve traffic flow. The vehicle guides you to your destination using a smart steering wheel and ensures that you're in the best of health with a new kind of seatbelt. You can use the time spent maintaining your car on other things.
Your front driver's side turn signal bulb just went out. Your preferred dealer has a new bulb in stock and can replace it tomorrow at 9 a.m. Should I book it?
Yes, please.
Because your car looks after itself. You may find that you're getting more work done when it's most convenient.
Email Nancy the September store opening document and include a message saying, "Looking forward to walking you through this soon."
And when real-time traffic monitoring shows you'll be running late,
Bad news. There's a sudden traffic jam 2 miles ahead. The good news is that I found a way around it, but it will still make you 15 minutes late for your meeting with Nancy. Should I let her know?
Yes, let her know I'll take the call from here. Find me a place to pull over.
you can always take the meeting from your car.
Heads up. There's a message from your wife. Honey, can you pick up the kids?
Sure thing.
The connected vehicle brings you and your family closer together and gives incredible access to UVerse and leading infotainment services. You can have instant access to all your favorite games and television shows, even the ones you recorded at home, right at your fingertips. Or give your kids the ability to finish their homework before they even reach home. The connected vehicle uses your location to bring you new opportunities.
I'm sure you're aware it's your wedding anniversary today. How about some flowers? 2 blocks ahead, Lori's Flowers has a flower bouquet special for $44.99.
While using its knowledge of other places to make those opportunities come a little easier.
Yeah, that's great. Find me a parking spot.
There's an open spot just 52 feet from the store. It also has a charging station since we're running low on energy.
And when it's dinner time,
Hi guys, sorry I'm running late tonight.
No worries. Why don't we just celebrate our anniversary with some pizza then?
the connected vehicle is happy to take your order.
Place an order to Benedito's for 2 large pizzas, 1 with pepperoni and 1 with everything.
Your food will be there about 10 minutes after you arrive.
The connected vehicle only scratches the surface of what can be done in the emerging world of connected experiences. Together with strong partners from around the world, we're bringing the best talent, resources, and technology to enable a larger ecosystem that will fundamentally improve the way we experience everyday life.
There you go. The customer intimacy business, simplifying people's lives, that's really ultimately what people are looking to service providers to do for them. So my last slide just kind of links it all together. We've got devices, we've got services in the cloud, we've got a service integration layer that brings capabilities together. You leave home, and Cloud Intelligence knows that you forgot to turn the lights off and reminds you to turn them off or turns them off for you. You join a telepresence call at work, and with an international customer and that doesn't speak English very well. And you can bring in closed caption, real-time, network-based translation from language to language to assist the interaction during that telepresence session. An online banking transaction that basically uses biometrics to secure the transaction so that you don't have to worry about whether somebody else can get into your account. We have all of these technologies in the lab. We're working to put them in the cloud and to bring this all together. As I said at the beginning, it's an incredibly exciting time to be in the telecom and IT industries, and I thank you very much for your time.